webinar. Welcome to this webinar on annual reporting. My name is Gina Torregrosa, and I'm part of the monitoring and reporting team here at the 10YFP Secretariat. And I really want to thank you for joining and for taking some time and for your interest in learning more about this process. We are using GoToWebinar. On the left side of your webinar tool, you find a little hand. You can click on it at any time just to raise your hand, and I'll be happy to unmute your mic so that you can ask any questions. You can also write your questions directly, type them, or write in the chat. Just to test that you are all listening to me correctly, can hear me correctly, could some of you click your hand to see if everything's okay? Thank you, Alison. Thank you, Benedict, Hannah. Okay, there seems, Katie, that there's several of you that are actively listening. Thank you. Thank you very much. So let's get things started. The objective of this webinar is really to have a top level and overarching view of the reporting process on the One Plan network. We will cover 4 basic points: why report your progress on SDG 12, what information is being collected. Then I'll give you an overview of the online reporting process. We'll go directly on the website and look at this process. And then finally, I'm going to briefly show you what we do that with all of the information that's being collected, how it is made available to the whole network, and how you can also benefit from this process. So let's get started with why to report. As you all know, the role of the One Plan Network and its partners is really significant within the United Nations and within the Sustainable Development Goals. We are the mandated implementation mechanism for SDG 12. And really through this process, we want to collect information to be able to show to the world how you are part of the process and how highlight what your organizations are doing to achieve SDG 12. So really, this reporting exercise really helps us to showcase and communicate the work of our partner organizations. Equally important, by reporting, you also contribute to understanding the current state of knowledge on the shift towards sustainable consumption and production, and to provide the data, the information, and the insights to guide the strategic direction of the activities that are implemented within the programs, and really to help us identify opportunities for further collaboration. Annually, the One Planet Network Secretariat combines all of these data, and we create sort of a global snapshot of the work that is being done, trying to identify strategic gaps and opportunities really to scale up and replicate all of the innovative and impactful practices that you are implementing. So the more that partners collectively report, the more value that actually all of the organizations can get out of the network. Really reporting and the findings that we get through the reporting really enable us to identify trends, to be able to replicate best practices, and really to connect with related or needed expertise and to connect with other initiatives. So really, this exercise encourages the collective impact and network dynamics of our work. Then let's move to the next one. So what is that we are exactly asking you to report on? As you may already know, we have a shared indicator framework. This framework really helps us articulate the efforts of such a big group of diverse partners from different sectors, working in different programs in different regions of the world. So really, this is the way in which we articulate and are able to reflect on how we are achieving sustainable consumption production as a network. The framework itself is informed by the SDGs. it actually replicates some of the targets under SDG 12, and it's really based on the science of our technical partners, the International Resource Panel and the Life Cycle Initiative. And as you might know, it was defined through a consultative process. As most indicator framework, it's divided in output, outcomes, and impact level indicators. And in the past couple of years, we've been able really to collect a fair amount of data on output level activities. That really has proven that we have the enabling conditions as a network to move forward and actually implement the changes that we want to see to achieve sustainable consumption production. Moving forward, and at this stage in time of the 10YFP, what we want to have is a greater focus on collecting data on outcome level activities. And these outcome level activities are those that really allow us and that signal progress towards the effective implementation and use of the resources that we already have, the tools and solutions that are available and that are put forward by our different partners in the network. And really are the basis of what could be replicated and scaled up as successful practices or as changes in practices. And really, these changes in practices act as entry point to measure impact. So among those outcome level indicators, we have policy instruments, monitoring and reporting within the context of sustainable consumption production. We have changes in practices. We have high-level commitments and coordination mechanisms to articulate the work around sustainable consumption production at different levels. And eventually, what we want to understand is how the different actions that our partners are implementing and leading to actual impacts in terms of resource efficiency, environmental impacts, and on human well-being. And I want to put perhaps a special focus on changes in practice, and perhaps giving you some examples to best illustrate what we mean by change in practice. So change in practice can be perhaps implementing new technologies to save resources, or changes in transportation, changes to the supply chain, or implementing zero waste initiative. It can also be perhaps increasing the share of sustainable products, or increasing supplier diversity, increasing recycling, reuse, or decreasing the overall use of resources, or for example, the use of plastics. A change in practice can also be changing the materials and the sourcing of some of the materials, improving the design, and they can also include organizational changes, how your organization is influencing others, the work of other organizations, their priorities, their strategies. So really, it's a very comprehensive indicator. Perhaps I will provide some more tangible examples that also show the variety of information that we've collected so far. So these are 3 examples from last year reporting. On one side, we have Productos Unión, which is a major retailer operating in Peru. And in collaboration with the World Resource Forum, one of our partners, they successfully managed to replace the non-recyclable packaging of their very popular and successful granola product to a certified biodegradable packaging, and are still working in changing some of the materials and the products that they use to produce their granola. On the other side, we also have Singita Grumeti, tourism venture in Tanzania that implemented a series of changes and technologies to reduce the consumption, for example, of water by 20%, or the energy use by around 11%. And that has also had social impacts by working jointly with the local cooperative to increase their revenue, and by increasing the amount of jobs for local people. And just a third example to show the variety of things that we've collected, we have My Green Butler, which is an initiative by an Australian organization that is providing analytics and direct feedback to hotel guests. And this has fostered changes in the consumption of these guests while they are staying at the hotel, achieving an average of 21% water saving or and 33% electricity saving. So this is just to illustrate the different things that have been reported so far, and to really encourage you to also report the changes that you are contributing to. I don't know if perhaps someone has a question at this stage. Please let me know. If not, I will move forward. It looks like there's a question. So Eduardo is asking if this is the same as SDG 12.1 reporting, or is it a different report? Eduardo, this is the reporting under the One Planet Network that it's done by all of our partners on a yearly basis. The report under SDG 12.1 is made by governments through the national focal points. Perhaps you play both the role of a national focal point and of a partner of the network, and that's where your confusion comes from. But for SDG 12.1 reporting, we've prepared a different set of trainings and resource materials to illustrate that independent process, for which we are also responsible. I hope I clarified your question. Okay, thank you, Eduardo. So I don't see any other questions. I'll keep going with the webinar. Now I'm going really to jump into showing you the process that's done directly on the website. Before I start, I want to give you a quick reminder of the deadlines of the reporting process. Report is open now until January 15th. And in this day, really the online reporting will be closed and no more entries will be allowed. And then for a period of about a month, there's going to be a quality assurance process in which the coordination desk of each of the programs are going to review all of the submissions of their partners and really just verify the consistency of what's being reported. And of course, if they have any questions, they perhaps might get back to you in a follow up individually, and of course all adjustments will be consulted with you. But just so you know, the timeline and your final date to report is January 15th. Then we've worked really hard to streamline the process. We've been collecting your input from the last year's reporting exercise and made some adjustments to guarantee that it's really fast and simple, but that it still includes the level of detail that we really need to be able to leverage the power of data. We've estimated that on average, it takes 4 to 7 minutes to report on an activity. And as you will see, when we go into the tool, more than 70% of the questions are multiple choice questions. And it's a very simple process. You create an account on the website. Perhaps most of you already have one. Then you go to the reporting tab under your account, and then you click report an activity under the relevant project. All reporting is done online through the One Planet Network website. So to get started, let's go to the website. Before I jump, there's another question by Benedict. Which year is concerned for the report, 2019 or 2018? So you can report any year of implementation. In this year, we're collecting data from 2019, and that's the data that's going to be presented on next year's reporting. But if you have interesting activities that have been developed and were implemented before, you can also report on them. So there's a question, Veronica. When is the deadline to upload the report? So I just mentioned the deadline to report is January 15th. And we are collecting data from 2019 specifically, but if you also have data from past years, it's also very valuable. So let me jump into the our website so I can show you a little bit more of the process. So once you're on the website, in the upper right corner, as you can see here, you can log into your MySCP account. If you don't have an account, as I mentioned, the first step would be to create one. And then if you're already a member, you just log in. And as you might already be familiar, this is your MySCP dashboard in which you will find different elements, including the reporting tab, either by clicking in here in this menu bar, or in here you can access the reporting hub. Here we are. So the first thing you'll see is like this brief welcome message and a title that says a few tips to help you get started. And here you can find available guidance documents and videos in case that you have any questions. This will help you during the reporting process, and I will also include a link to this webinar, which I'm recording, so that you can review it later if needed. Then, if you scroll down, you'll see each of your projects. And if you have previously reported activities under them or not. So you just look for the project for which you want to report. As you can see, for example, from this project, 4 activities have already been reported before. So you can report as many activities as you want. You just need to do it one at a time. If, for example, this is a project between different organizations, or if you created the project but you want someone else to report on it, you can add that person here as an author, and by adding them as an author, the project will also appear on the reporting overview. So just you can add, as you can see, there's several authors in this one, as many authors as you want, and you will all share the same project and the same information under it. So this will help you if you want to delegate the reporting activities to someone else, or coordinate and divide. I don't know, one organization reports some of it and the other organizations another part of it. That's possible. Then when you are ready to report, you click on report an activity. If you perhaps want to report an activity that's not related to a project, either because it's a standalone activity, not framed within a more comprehensive work plan, then you can do it here. But let's do it here under the project. And here we get into the actual reporting questionnaire. I want to, because I see that there's a couple of you that perhaps speak other languages that are not just English. This year we've translated the report, so if you click in here, you are able to switch the language to French and Spanish, and all of the questions will automatically appear on the selected language. So let's leave it for now in English to continue our webinar. Then the first thing that you'll see is this tell us about yourself section. The system has pre-filled some of the information, so whenever possible, the system is going to do this really just to ease your process. Just verify and adjust if needed. Then you have to select the group to which your organization belongs to. Most of you are either partners of one of the programs or MAC members of a program, so you select either one of these. I'll put, for example, partner, and then you include your title and click next. And in here, you actually start adding the information related to the activities. Again, the title of the project is pre-filled by the system, and in here you need to select what type of activity you are reporting. These different options follow the indicators that I showed you previously on the framework. And if you hover, if you put your mouse on top of each of them, you'll see a very brief explanation of what do they mean in the context of our framework. And then if you select one because you want to report, for example, in this case, I'm going to report on a training that was done, then you will see a full description below with a lot of more information, a more comprehensive description. So if you're not familiar with the reporting, if it's the first time that you're doing it, perhaps you want to spend a couple of minutes just clicking around and reading what the different indicators mean. Then you just need to name your activity. So for example, I selected a training, so I'm going to write, I don't know, 3-day training in eco-labeling in Asia Pacific countries, and I'll write this in here. Then we ask you some of multiple choice questions to have a little bit more context around the activity. So really the just the program to which your organization belongs to. I don't know, for example, sustainable public procurement. And then if your activity is also pertinent to the field of one of the other programs, or if you have collaborated with other programs to implement this activity, you can also click in here. So I don't know, procurement and food systems. And this is a free non-mandatory field in which you can add more details. To recognize and distinguish mandatory fields from non-mandatory fields, they have the mandatory ones have an asterisk. So usually these open text fields are optional. Then each activity has some questions that are particular to that activity. In this case, it's a training, so we're asking you about the reporting year, so let's say 2019, and then some questions about the training, the days of the training, the participants, the types of organizations from which these participants belong to. And then we have some context, also information that really help us paint a better picture of what you're doing. So who is leading the implementation, the type of organization, if you collaborated with others, and as you can see, it's all multiple choice. Then the sectors, if your activity is relevant to one specific sector. If it's not relevant, you can just click here, not relevant. Where it was implemented. So I don't know, I said Asia Pacific, and then you're able to select some of the programs. If it's just for the whole region, you can quickly click in here, or you can click, and then if some of them do not apply, you can unclick those as well. So let's say click all. And here you have in this narrative report section, you can include the objective of your activity, and if you have accomplished or are expecting to accomplish any achievements that you really want to highlight and tell us more about. Then this is also a multiple choice questions, and we want to know if this activity, besides contributing to SDG 12, is also contributing to other SDGs. So you just click on the SDG that you believe it is also contributing. So I don't know, gender, good health. You can click as many as you like or unclick them as well. And as you might know, each year the One Planet Network is implementing an overall theme, really to be able to map and identify what our different partners are doing around one topic, and really make sense and rationalize what the network is doing towards finding solutions around one topic. In this particular year, the topic that we are implementing is plastics. So if you are reporting an activity related to plastics, you click in here yes or no. And if your organization is working around plastic pollution, this is a really good year to report and be featured and include as much information as possible. So we really encourage those that are working on plastics to report. Then we have some optional questions on funding. We also want to know the impact that your activity contributes to. You can select one or different, or none of the above, and if some funding was capitalized. And at the end, we just have these submit button. So by clicking on it, this will take you to a thank you page, and the thank you page will have a link in which you can access your reported activity at all times and edit it. You will also receive a confirmation email that includes this link as well, and you will be able to edit your submission at any time until the deadline of reporting, which is January 15th. And just one quick reminder, if you continue to scroll down, below you will find some more support documents, including the framework, a quick guide, and then some contacts within the programs and the Secretariat in case you have any questions. So I'm going to open it up to you to see if you have any questions at this time. I see a bunch of questions so I'm going to start reading them, okay? Hello, I have my profile on the One Planet Network, but I wonder if I should create an account for Earth Charter International for this reporting. Yes, so each individual within their account is connected to an organization, and when you are reporting, you are able to include the name of the organization that you are reporting in behalf of. So you can include this information from the account that you currently have. By activity, you mean the project, not the company? Yeah. So what we want to see is how the projects that you've uploaded in our program portfolio have been are moving and are progressing by the implementation of different activities. Can you talk a little more a bit about non-One Planet projects and related activities? Of course. So you're invited to report on all of the activities that you find relevant and that are contributing to SDG 12, even if they are being developed by your organization and not necessarily between within the One Planet Network framework. When you do that, let me go back perhaps to the reporting. Move things around my screen so I'm able to see. So here, there's one particular multiple choice question. Let me go all the way back. Sorry about this. I'm just trying to find the question because it's at the beginning. Here. So the question is here, activity attribution. So if it's an activity that's undertaken by your organization outside the One Planet Network, you just click here and signal that it's affiliated activity and not part of the program of work of the program that you're part of. I don't see any other questions at this point in time. You can also unmute yourself and just ask the question directly. No. So I'm going to go back to my presentation and just give you a final note on what we do with the results of the reporting exercise. So as I told you, we summarize and analyze all of the data that we collect. Each year, we put together the HLPF report, which is sent to the General Assembly in New York. And it's part of the process of reviewing the progress on Agenda 2030. And all of your organizations and the work that you're doing are fully acknowledged within this report. So it's a really high-level document. We also put together some more friendly communication magazines and brochures that are also widely distributed. We participate at high-level events and feature all of the information that has been reported. And the reporting has also been sourced for some more creative communication content, such as the 360 degrees videos that were displayed in 2018 at the high-level political forum in New York. And of course, they are used and broadcasted through our social media accounts. Moving forward, we're going to also be developing some feature stories and case studies that will be included in our and highlighted through our website. This is a work that's on development and that are available for everyone in the network to see and for you to use. And the data that's collected is also available online for everyone to use and to look at through a series of dashboards. I'm going to show you perhaps a little bit more around those. And really the idea is that this tool has been developed to foster the engagement among partners. If you use it, you can find what other partners are doing, and you can explore activities that are being reported, filtering them by region, by sector, by type of impact, by program. So there's a nice set of filters that you can apply and really find the expertise and the complementing initiatives that are being implemented in the network. And really, this is a tool that we invite you to use to encourage the knowledge exchange and the collaboration across the network. So perhaps I'm going to take just 1 minute to show it to you. So when you go to the main, to the front page of our website, you'll find the main menu, and we've now created a tab on reporting in which you'll find the information that I've just covered in the webinar: why to report, what to report, how to report progress on SDG 12. So in here you will find all the support material, the step-by-step guides, videos. So really, if you have any questions, it's a good place to visit. And then you also have the reporting results. So if you click in here, you will access our data visualization tool. As you can see, as of 2018, we have around 2,000 activities that have been reported. In here, you can see the amount of activities that have been reported under each program. Then these set of graphs show you the activities in terms of the indicators. And as I explained previously, we have a good set of information around output level. And what we really want to increase are these outcome level indicators. So the green ones, we really want to collect more information around those. And hopefully the next time that you'll see these, we will have a more richer data around these ones. Then you have some information about the partners, the regions, the sectors that each of these activities are addressing, and the expected impact areas. Each of these graphs acts like a filter, and it's clickable. So for example, let's see, I'm working in Asia Pacifics, so I'm interested in knowing what other organizations in the region are doing and contributing, how they are contributing to SDG 12. So I click in here, and this really what it did is that it applied a filter to the whole data set. So you can see in here that then now that this is a subset of all of the data, and you can see how each of the programs has contributed or to the or is implementing activities within this region. You can see what indicators are being reported, and perhaps I'm in the Asia Pacific region and I want to see, I'm in the tourism sector, so I click in here. And I'm looking perhaps for a partner, an initiative that's working, I don't know, in waste reduction. So by clicking on all of the different filters, you're filtering the database, and what happens is that here in below you can see the different projects that we have on our portfolios that are addressing that correspond to this subset of data, the type of activities, and the organizations that are involved. So this is a very nice way to look and search within the reporting activities. I'm just going to refresh and provide perhaps another example. Perhaps you want to see what partners of your program are doing. So you are again within the, I don't know, the tourism program, and you click in here. So now you're focusing, yes, just on the data that's being reported under the tourism program, and you want to work with or see what national governments are doing. So perhaps you click in here. And then you see that there's a lot going on around the impact area of biodiversity, and you find this interesting, and you further click down, and then at the end you have those projects and activities that are match these criteria. So it's a very nice way to see what other partners all across the network, not only on your program, are doing. I'll open it up again. Perhaps you have some more questions. Are we going to have access to the PowerPoint after the presentation? So what I'm going to do is that I'm recording this webinar, and I'm going to publish it and make it accessible on the support material in your reporting hub. Do you have any other questions? Well, if we don't have any further questions, I just wanted to remind you that each of the programs is available to answer your questions around reporting. There's a contact person and email for each of them. You can also find this information on our website. And of course, if you have any questions, you can contact me directly if you have issues with the reporting tool itself, and I'm more than happy to assist you with that. And I really want to thank you all for your participation and for your interest in this process. I really hope that you all report and join this exercise. Thank you very much for attending the webinar.